Hey guys, this is Algebra 2, section 3.2. We're going to build on the solving a system of linear equations, and instead of graphing them this time, we're going to solve them using substitution and elimination. And I'm hoping these methods look familiar from Algebra 1, so I'm going to go through these examples kind of quickly. There is not a note page for this section, but you are asked to practice some from the PowerPoint. There's 4 you try problems at the end. There's also worksheet 3.2a that you should be filling in as part of the assignment for this video. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to use substitution first. This is the system of equations here, and I'm sorry, I think the video is pulling off the curly bracket there, blocking it off. But this is a system of linear equations, so we're going to have to get one of the variables by itself in order to use substitution. We're going to solve this first one here for x. When we solve for x, we're just going to move everything around by subtracting the 4y from both sides. We end up getting x equal to 26 minus that 4y. Now you'll see that I'll put it in parentheses because that reminds us we're going to substitute this parenthesis thing for x into this second equation. So we're going to copy down the second equation, x minus 5y equals negative 10 here. We're going to substitute for the x the 26 minus 4y that we proved was equal to the x from the first equation. Now it's a simple combine like terms. We get negative 9y on this side. We subtract 26 from both sides and get negative 36. Dividing both sides by negative 9, we get y equals positive 4. Now remember, the solution to a linear system of equations is an ordered pair. It's not just a value of x or y. So we have to find y now. So you have a couple of choices here. You can plug this in into either equation. We're going to go ahead and plug it into the first equation, x plus 4y equals 26. We're going to replace y. We know what y is. We just found out it was 4. So we're going to replace it with 4. Solving for x, we get x equals 10. So our answer is 10, 4, written as an ordered pair. Now you could always plug these back in. We know that these work because we just solved for them. Okay, the next method is called elimination. We're going to start with a pretty simple one. Elimination is done by drawing a line. I want you to look at first, before we draw that line, let's compare these two equations. When you use elimination, you'll notice that this one is really close to this one. The x's are really close. We just have to make one of them negative in order to make them cancel out. Well, if I multiply this by a negative, I have to multiply each part of it by a negative. Drawing my line reminds me to add these two together. X plus negative x cancels. 2y minus y gives us a positive 1y. 10 minus 6 gives us a positive 4. And it worked out that we got y equals 4. Now again, we're going to substitute that back into one of the equations. Substituting it into the easier one, which happens to be the second equation, we're going to put 4 there. X plus 4 equals 6. Subtract 4 from both sides, we get x equals 2. The final solution is 2, 4. Okay, let's use elimination when our coefficients are not 1 or they do not match each other, but we can make them match fairly simply. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the y's match because those are the numbers that are smallest. So even though I could multiply these by each other, I'm going to use these two coefficients. So what you do is you make sure that your signs are opposite. If they're not, then you're going to need to change one of the signs also. In our case, they're opposite. You multiply the first equation by the second equation's coefficient. So we're going to multiply this equation by 2. The second equation gets multiplied by this equation's coefficient, so we're going to multiply this equation by 3. Multiplying this first equation by 2, we get 4x plus 6y equals 24. Remember, you need to multiply this term and the middle one. That guy always gets forgotten. Multiplying the second equation by 3, we multiply this one by 3, this one by 3, and this one by 3. We get 15x minus 6y equals 33. Now we're going to add these two equations together. You should notice that this term drops off. That's why it's called elimination. We eliminate one of the terms. So we eliminate the y's. We end up getting 19x here equals 57 there. Dividing both sides by 19, we get x equals 3. Once again, this is not your solution. We have to plug this back in. We're going to plug the 3 back in for x into this equation. We get 6 plus 3y equals 12. Subtracting both sides from, subtracting 6 from both sides, we get 3y equals 6. Dividing both sides by 3, we get y equals 2. My final solution is 3, 2. Alright, I'm going to run through one more of those because I want to show you sometimes we get kind of a funny answer. Let's compare these two. We got a -3 and a 6, and a 5 and a -10. So we have to decide, are we going to multiply through here or through here? Well, let's look. If I multiply the first equation by 2, you will notice that I get -6x plus 10y equals 24. This equation will easily cancel with this one. So let's copy equation 2. 6x minus 10y equals -21. Putting our plus sign there reminds us that we add these two. Adding these two eliminates them. Adding these two eliminates them, and we end up with a 0. 0 equals 3 is not possible. So this tells you that this one is no solution. Okay, there are 4 examples for you to try. I will paste through them here. Here's your first one. If at any time you want to try these, go ahead and pause it and work these out on your worksheet. First answer you should get is 5, 1. The second example, again, pause. I'm not going to pause now, but you hit the pause button. The example for this one the answer for this one you should get is 17, -4. Notice I'm referencing the example you should look at. Number 3, or the one like example 3, you should get -5, 4. And the one that looks like example 4, you should get no solution. Alright, that's all I have. Remember, try these 4 problems, work out the practice A worksheet 3.2 practice A. It's on the back of the 3.1 practice A. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.